everyone, this is Tony from her Homestead Skills, and I have spent the last few days still prepping the garden to be able to plant. I have planted some tomatoes and some Brussels sprouts, so there's a start, but we spent a fair amount of time laying some ground cover cloth. So let me show you what we've done. At this point, we have already laid out the ground cover cloth in the area that I wanted covered. I don't plan to cover the whole garden with it, but I did want some of it weed-free because it's a very weedy plot and it would take too much effort for me to keep it clean all summer long. It would take daily work. Probably will anyway. Anyway, at this point I am burying the edges, and Mark has determined the distances that I want to plant, and he is using his torch. He has all these tools. So he's using his torch to make holes, and I will be planting within those holes. So that's what we're doing right now. Well, at this point, I did ask Mark to connect the water for me, and I continued to seal up the bottom end of the ground cover cloth. Now, the whole thing has been pegged down, and it's just the bottom end and the top end. I still may want to put some more along the side, so I'll leave that for the time being, but just wanted to get these all cleaned up and positioned and firm and not flopping around. So burying the ends is a good idea. So that is the job that I'm doing. So, and that ground certainly is a whole lot easier now that it has been cleaned out. Doesn't mean that the weeds won't try to persist anyway. They're pretty hardy little things, those plants. So anyway, we continue along doing that. Mark is watering the raspberries at the back. Since he did get the water going, we felt it would be prudent to water them, and they've all done beautifully except for one of them, and it was the tiniest one, so it just didn't seem to survive, but the other ones did extremely well, even though they were only watered approximately a week ago at this point, or maybe only 5 days ago, and it has been hot and dry, so they're doing very well. I believe that Mark is asking me what I want done in a certain spot there. He recognizes that yes, this is my garden. He's helping me with the hard stuff, putting the bones in. We will be putting a whole lot more, the T-posts and some fencing and just things to grow the plants on, trellises and fencing material to tie the tomatoes to and that sort of thing. And that's where he will help, and then probably from that point on he'll walk away and I'll look after the garden. Which is, I mean, when we had the garden at our home, Mark's always watered. He just seemed to enjoy sitting there and watering the garden. But I suspect that after this one is established, I probably won't see much of him here. But you never know. Things can change. And I decided that I would plant my Brussels sprouts at the back end. There was still a good 8 feet of space there to be able to plant something, and Brussels sprouts are quite large and take up a lot of space, so I was able to put 2 rows of 5 each, I believe, so 10 Brussels sprouts, and there's still room at the back for something else, but that's what I put there for now. And I didn't want to put it at the front end of the garden because I still have a lot to plan out, how I will accommodate that. And I have planned that on that ground cover cloth I will have 2 rows of tomato plants, and perhaps 2 rows on the other side, maybe only 1, and a hoop structure to grow beans and cucumbers. So beans on one side of the hoop and cucumbers on the other. Now we also, Mark and I, through our travels, I suggested going to one place where I knew we might be able to get a tool that we were looking for, and in the end we also stopped by this garden center that I know existed. I know the 2 gentlemen who own it. They used to be close neighbors of ours, and but Mark had never been there. I ran into them once a few years back by accident, and yeah, Mark was quite impressed with their new facilities. They've probably been there about 4 or 5 years now, maybe longer, but probably about 10 times the size of what they used to have before. And they had something, very busy. They were very, very busy, which is, it's nice to see people being successful, especially in this day and age when everyone's suffering so much. Businesses are shut down and that, but they seem to be thriving. And they had something that I've never seen elsewhere, and that's asparagus roots. So I thought, oh, wonderful, I'll start an asparagus bed. Now, I only bought 1 package because I've never started them before, and if I like them I may go and pick up a few more. But for now, I still haven't planned where I would put them in my garden. And before I do any more, I have to plan out the balance of it. So yeah, still a lot of work to do, still a lot of plants to put in the ground. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll catch you on the next one.